Welcome to Fantasy Audiobook. Reincarnation for All. I Can Amplify Everything. Chapter 56. The cyan giant snake and the rock giant in the soil flickered, but they both nodded slightly, agreeing to the suggestion of the mad knife monster. Then let me do it for you and kill him. The mad knife demon licked his lips, his face was full of bloodlust. The mad knife big demon strode towards Su Hao. He stared at Su Hao and said with regret, "Boy, you confuse the crystal core of the demon king and have the blood of the king. You will have a bright future in the future, but it's a pity, you met me." The mad knife demon didn't take Su Hao seriously at all. From his eyes, he could tell at a glance that Su Hao had just been promoted to the divine pulse realm. Even if he had the blood of the king, he could never be his opponent. Kill. Smash thousands of soldiers. Even so, the crazy sword demon was not careless. The lion fought the rabbit with all his strength. He used all his strength to kill Su Hao in one move. Bang! The mad knife demon drew his sword instantly, and a wave of domineering demonic aura swept forward crazily, forming a sky-filled saber aura, and slashed towards Su Hao head-on. Chi 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 chi. The ground along the way was cut and cracked with dense cracks, the wind howled, the knife chi roared, and the void was distorted by this terrifying blow. Careful. Seeing this scene from a distance, Yang Yu and Wang Tianrui's expression changed. Looking from a distance, Su Hao's body was shrouded in the knife net formed by the evil spirit, and he would end up being smashed to pieces anytime. The first Tianmai, open. Facing the slash of the mad knife monster, Su Hao suddenly moved, and the unique sky vein in his body suddenly released a bright golden light, which reflected the void around Su Hao into gold. The golden light was shining brightly, as if the power of heaven descended on Su Hao. Roar! Su Hao moved suddenly. He punched out, and the tiger demon Tongshenquan was used to the extreme. This punch was like a devil tiger roaring up to the sky. Boom! The huge devil tiger rolled out, which was condensed by Su Hao's strength and fist intent. It collided heavily with the oncoming saber energy, and suddenly the void was shaken, and the deafening explosion sound was Black Rock City, which is far away, can be heard clearly. Chi 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 chi. The overflowing force spread to the surroundings, cutting deep cracks in the surrounding ground. The appalling movement made people tremble with fear. When everything dispersed, Su Wuo too stood on the spot without taking a step back. His black hair was flying, and a golden vein in his body shone with golden light, against which he was as tall as a god. How? Blocked my blow. And didn't use the power of the king's blood. The frenzied sword monster's discoloration could not be suppressed. He had expected that Su Hao could block his blow, but in his expectation, Su Hao had to activate the king's bloodline to make this possible. As a result, Su Hao didn't activate the king's bloodline, and only relied on his own strength. Destroy it. This is beyond the expectations of the mad knife monster. What is it? Could it be a divine vein? But why Su Hao only opened one divine vein, yet he was able to compete with a great demon at the peak of a divine vein? While Yang Yu and Wang Tianrui who witnessed this scene from a distance were shocked, they were also puzzled. The power that Su Hao erupted just now must have come from the divine veins, but Su Hao only opened up a single divine vein, and was able to withstand the blow of the invincible big monster in the divine vein realm. This is completely beyond their common sense. Naturally, they don't know that what Su Hao opened up is not a divine vein, but a heavenly vein. Everyone, are you ready to be beaten to death by me? The corner of Su Hao's mouth curled up. These monsters dared to find him, they were simply seeking their own death. Hold head high. As the words fell, the blood of the king dragon in Su Hao's body roared, and an endless power surged up. Every cell in Su Hao's body burst out with infinite power. Ka ka ka. Su Hao's figure has been raised a bit, reaching a height of 2 meters. There are pieces of black dragon scales like armor growing on the surface of his body. An astonishing pressure rushes straight out, and the clouds in the shaking sky roll. The momentum like a dragon pervades the world, making people daunting. Su Hao's king flood dragon bloodline is much stronger than before. He refined 2 new monster king crystal cores, and his bloodline has been promoted from the king level to the king level middle level. The most intuitive manifestation is that Su Hao in the past, stimulating the power of the blood can double the strength of one's body, but now it can be strengthened 3 times. One must know that Su Hao has a divine power of 20 million caddies in one arm, and with a threefold increase, it is an exaggerated supernatural power of 80 million caddies in one arm. Many warriors who have opened up 12 divine veins only have the strength of 12 million caddies in one arm. If they are fused with the demon crystal core, they may be stronger, but it is definitely not as exaggerated as Seguo. Call out. Su Hao's figure flashed slightly, and in an instant, his tall body seemed to tear the air forcefully. The friction between his body and the air burst out dazzling sparks, and he approached Crazy Knife at an incredible speed. Tiger Demon Power Fist. Tiger Demon Shattering Style. Su Hao didn't make any extra movements, and unleashed the ultimate move in the Tiger Demon Tongshengquan. His right fist carried 80 million caddies of divine power, arousing the fist force that twisted the void, and struck out brazenly. Slash the remnant cloud. Huang Dao's pupils contracted, and Su Hao's speed almost exceeded the limit that his retina could capture. He subconsciously roared, and the monster power in his body was stimulated to the peak. Not daring to be careless, he unleashed the strongest saber technique with all his strength. The monster cloud was raging, but a saber light cut out from the middle, splitting the wind and cloud, facing Su Hao's punch. Clang. Amidst the explosive sound of metal and iron clashing, something that was unacceptable to Crazy Knife happened. When the two collided, Crazy Knife heard a whine. It was the whine from the saber in his hand. Ka ka ka. The blood-red saber in Huang Dao's hand, which has been with him for many years and has killed countless powerful enemies, exploded when it collided with Su Hao's fist. Su Hao's punch that seemed to be able to lift mountains and rivers, without any suspense, he shattered Crazy Knife's saber, and went straight forward, straight into Crazy Knife's body. Ah, no. Huang Dao let out a shrill scream. That overbearing fist punched into his body, and then exploded, causing his burly monster body to explode, and pieces of flesh and blood flew around, none of which was intact. Only a dark red demon crystal nucleus shone faintly and fell to the ground. The audience was silent, and all the monsters who saw this scene stared round, a little unbelievable. Crazy Knife is dead. Both Wang Tianrui and Ouyang Yu felt dizzy. This is a monster that is almost invincible in the divine vein realm. He fought against Su Hao, but he was beaten to pieces by Su Hao in a face-to-face encounter. Not a single piece of his body was intact. The crazy saber monster was still powerful before, but he was killed by Su Hao in the blink of an eye. The expressions of the remaining two big monsters all changed. The blue giant snake's eyes showed a lot of fear, and the rock giant who was underground was shocked at the moment. He gritted his teeth and shouted, "Green Snake, the two of us join hands, kill this kid. He is our hope to advance to the Demon King realm." Whisper. The cyan giant snake didn't speak, but showed the force field with actions. It opened a bloody mouth, and the gray-white demonic aura shrouded the sky and covered the sun, wrapping Su Hao in it. Call. This gray-white demonic aura has an extremely cold aura, which condenses a layer of frost in a radius of 100 or 200 meters, and even more gray-white ice crystals grow on Su Hao's body, freezing his whole body in it. The demonic aura spewed out by the giant cyan snake froze into frost within a radius of 100 or 200 meters around Su Hao. The rock giant's eyes lit up, and he laughed wildly. Good job. Boom. The rock giant drilled out from the ground. Its whole body is made of black stone, and it has a hard feeling. It is as tall as 10 meters, giving people a strong oppressive force. Die to me. The rock giant didn't let go of this good opportunity. It came running wildly, striking out with a huge rock fist, trying to beat Su Hao, who was frozen in the frost, to pieces. But something astonishing happened. When the rock giant's heavy fist was a few feet away from Su Hao, it stopped abruptly. Su Hao, who was frozen in the frost, burst out a blood-red gas flame. Under the blood-red gas flame, the hard ice crystals melted and disintegrated, the scorching breath swept across the land, and everything around him was turned into ashes. It is the supernatural power awakened after Su Hao's bloodline reached the king-level intermediate level, the sublimation of dragon blood. In a short period of time, the blood can be sublimated into dragon blood, and the power of blood can burn the world. No, no. The rock giant let out a terrified cry, and everything within 100 meters around Su Hao started to burn. Su Hao was like a blood-red sun, rendering the sky a blood-red color, emitting a terrifying high temperature. The body of the rock giant was set on fire. The rock giant rolled on the ground desperately, trying to extinguish the flames, but it was useless at all. It gradually stopped struggling, and the black rock body cracked and shattered. Seeing this scene, the blue giant snake in the sky showed fear in its irrepressible eyes. Su Hao's strength is beyond imagination. Even the top monster in the divine vein realm, in front of him, he is as weak as an ant. Escape. The cyan giant snake then realized that the bloodline of a king or transforming into a demon king is not as important as life. It turned around to control the demon cloud and was ready to leave from here. But Su Hao would not let the giant cyan snake escape. Boom. Su Hao stomped heavily on the ground, and a huge pit with a diameter of 10 meters was sunken in the ground he stepped on. He himself used his strength to soar into the sky, and charged directly at the giant blue snake in the demon cloud. Not only that, Su Hao released the dragon's power, making the green giant snake seem to be trapped in a quagmire. Its movements became slow, and it could only watch Su Hao keep approaching. Puff. Carrying a terrifying force, Su Hao hit the head of the giant cyan snake heavily with his body. Just like a cannonball, the head of the giant cyan snake was shattered by the impact, and the blood mixed with the brain splashed. Boom. The 100-meter-long body of the giant cyan snake fell heavily on the ground, raising fields all over the sky. Run away! Run away! The monsters watching in the distance watched the three big monsters being slaughtered in stupefaction. At this moment, they fled in all directions like hell. Originally, the three big demons came in a fierce manner and regarded Su Hao as meat on the chopping board, but after a short time, all the big demons were like paper in front of Su Hao, and were easily killed by Su Hao. It's so scary. Unless it's a king-level powerhouse who makes a move, I'm afraid no one can be his opponent. Wang Tianrui and Yang Yu, who witnessed this scene with their own eyes, swallowed a mouthful of saliva, shocked by Su Hao's horror, the true invincibility under the king level. And Su Hao looked at the corpses of the three big monsters, and nodded in satisfaction. His current strength is indeed beyond the imagination of ordinary people. Not only that, he is far from reaching the peak, and he just opened the first stage. It's just a skyline. Let's go. At this moment, Wang Tianrui said something to Yang Yu. Originally he wanted to wait for Su Hao to be in danger before helping, but now it seems that he was thinking too much. With Su Hao's strength, he didn't need any help at all. Can anyone help? The battle outside Black Rock City made Su Hao famous among the monsters. He was able to kill three big monsters by himself, even if there were monsters coveting his king's blood. Never dare to seek death again. Su Hao cleaned the battlefield and collected the crystal nuclei of the three big monsters. Still in the barren hills 300 miles away from Blackstone City, the first thing Su Hao did was to amplify a big demon crystal nucleus. Ding! Trigger a 50-fold increase, and the increase of the demon crystal nucleus in the divine vein state becomes the demon king crystal nucleus. Ding! Trigger a 59-fold increase, and the increase of the demon crystal nucleus in the divine vein state becomes the demon king crystal nucleus. Because these three crystal nuclei were originally at the peak of the divine pulse realm, under the boost of Su Hao, all of them turned into demon king level crystal nuclei. For ordinary people, the crystal core of the demon king is rare in the world, but Su Hao easily obtained one after another. The only thing that disappointed Su Hao was that after refining the three demon king crystal cores, his own blood power did not undergo a qualitative change. Not 2 or 3 demon king crystal nuclei can do it. Forget it. Let's cultivate the Tianmai Sutra to perfection first. Su Hao was helpless, but he didn't get entangled. He was going to cultivate the Tianmai Sutra to perfection first, and now he only opened a Tianmai meridian. I believe that when all 12 celestial veins are activated, his strength can rise to a whole new level. Su Hao retreated and meditated, but what he didn't know was that an amazing scene happened in another place. This is a barren land, surrounded by a miasma that makes people want to vomit. And a tall, majestic middle-aged man was digging vigorously in this barren land, surrounded by turned over and piled up into mountains of soil. Obviously this middle-aged man has been digging for a very long time. If Su Hao were here, he would definitely recognize that this majestic middle-aged man is none other than Feng Yuan, the golden-armored general of the Temple of Heaven. Why haven't you dug it yet? Feng Yuan was sweating profusely, digging the soil non-stop, his brows were wrinkled, his face was disheveled, and his heart was a little anxious. But soon, Feng Yuan's eyes lit up suddenly, he felt a palpitating breath, he was not surprised but happy, and accelerated the digging. Finally, as the soil was turned over, a corpse was gradually revealed. This corpse was covered with purple scales. It had obviously been dead for many years, but there was an aura emanating from it. The breath is trembling. Finally found. The body of the Blood Wind Demon King thousands of years ago has been dug here for a month or two, and finally it was dug out. Feng Yuan couldn't hide the joy on his face. Hey, take this corpse with my great method of seizing the house, and nourish it with my powerful true spirit, so that it can return to the peak state before death. It won't be long before I can become a king-level powerhouse. This is the top combat power in this world. When the time comes, find that kid Su Hao first, let him understand what fear is. Feng Yuan giggled strangely, with a penetrating coldness in his eyes. Feng Yuan is the golden-armored general of the Tianshan Temple, with an extraordinary status, but he was humiliated by Su Hao not long ago, and he has never forgotten it. When he learned that Su Hao had entered the reincarnation world, he immediately entered. Xing reincarnated and came to the same world. Feng Yuan, who was reincarnated, is very low-key. He has mastered a great method of seizing the body. Whether it is a living person or a corpse, he can seize the body and exchange bodies. As long as there is one of the world's top. With a corpse of combat power, he can reach the peak in one fell swoop. So as soon as Feng Yuan was reincarnated, he searched everywhere for the burial places of the world's top powerhouses, and finally successfully found the corpses of 10 powerful demon kings 10,000 years ago in this swampy wilderness. Now that Feng Yuan can seize his home, as for the next action, of course, he will seek revenge on Su Hao, make his true spirit annihilate, and stay here forever. Hey, I will soon become the Demon King, the existence standing at the top of this world, and now that kid Su Hao is probably still struggling in the physical training state, I really hope he looks like that when he sees me. Terrified look. Feng Yuan clenched his fists, a sickly blush appeared on his face, he couldn't wait to see Su Hao's frightened look when he saw him. Chapter 57. Let's start. Feng Yuan didn't hesitate after that, dug out the whole Demon King's body, and started his own plan to seize the house. He wanted to step up to the peak in one step. It is not something newcomers can compare with. Naturally, Su Hao didn't know that Feng Yuan had also reincarnated into this world, and he was currently practicing in seclusion. I have completed 9 times of blood refining, and the power of qi and blood is far stronger than ordinary people, so the opening of the sky veins is much faster than other warriors. It may take 10 or 20 years for others to open up one. And I need a month. Su Hao's face was full of excitement. Whether it is to open up the divine veins or the heavenly veins, they use their own qi and blood to warm and nourish the main meridians, and then make them transform. Su Hao has completed 9 blood refinements, and his efficiency in warming and nourishing the main meridians is far from being comparable to that of ordinary people. He can almost open up a heavenly meridian every month. This is the benefit of a solid foundation and strong blood vessels. As time passed by every minute and every second, Su Hao's second and third heavenly veins were continuously opened up. Every time he opened up a heavenly vein, his combat power would increase greatly, which is equivalent to others opening up 10 divine veins. Coming growth. A year passed quickly, and there were no accidents during this year. Su Hao killed 3 big demons in a row, and no one dared to covet his king's blood. Ka ka ka. One night a year later, there were bursts of noises coming from Su Hao's body, and 12 light golden meridians could be faintly seen shining in his body through his body. 12 celestial veins. Success. After a year of painstaking practice, I finally successfully opened up 12 heavenly veins. Su Hao also showed a gratified smile. Su Hao, who has successfully opened up 12 celestial meridians, his current combat power is absolutely exaggerated. When he only opened up 1 celestial meridian, he can easily crush the big monster, but now he is absolutely far away. With strength beyond this level, even the so-called Demon King, Su Hao can have the confidence to compete with him. Moreover, after opening up 12 heavenly veins, I can faintly mobilize a little power of heaven and earth, and be able to break free from gravity, levitate, and fly. In addition, Su Hao discovered that after he opened up 12 celestial veins, he was able to mobilize the power of heaven and earth to fly, which is similar to the first world after becoming a dragon master. With a slight movement of Su Hao's mind, he lifted his feet off the ground, flew into the air, and then slowly landed. The next step is to break through and enter the realm of the king, but I must strive for perfection. It is best to make my own bloodline reach a limit, and then break through in one fell swoop, thus becoming the most powerful king. Su Hao thought to himself, thinking about his next plan. Under normal circumstances, those who can become martial arts kings are not mortals, and the difference in combat power will not be too outrageous. Bloodlines are an important factor. The gap between the two is naturally very reason. If Su Hao can promote his own king blood to the peak before breaking through the king, then after he breaks through, the benefits he will gain will definitely be huge, and he will even become the strongest among the kings in one fell swoop. This is the same as one with a potential of 1 and one with a potential of 10. The gap between the two after breaking through is incomparable. Su Hao wants to reach the sky in one step. On this day, in Black Rock City, someone found Su Hao. Ouyang Yu. Su Hao was slightly surprised. The person who found him was Ouyang Chen. Brother Su, we meet again. I haven't seen you for a year, and your strength seems to have improved. Ouyang Yu said with his eyes brightened slightly when he saw Su Hao. Ouyang Yu could tell that although Su Hao's aura was very restrained, the power hidden in his body was shocking. After this year, Su Hao's strength must have improved compared to before. Master Ouyang is looking for me for something. Su Hao asked, knowing that Ouyang Yu must have something to do when he came to see him. Sure enough, Ouyang Yu's face showed a trace of seriousness, and he said straight to the point, a strange thing happened recently. I don't know why. The number of big monsters has shown a blowout growth. In the past, those big monsters were rare, but recently unfamiliar new big monsters appear frequently, as if they are heralding something. Su Hao was also slightly surprised by this statement. Big monsters are very rare. They are almost the strongest under the king level, but according to Ouyang Yu, the number of big monsters has increased recently, and there are many new big monsters. What is behind this? For what reason? Then Ouyang Yu said very sincerely, Brother Su, there are really too many of these big monsters, and most of them are restless and killing everywhere. Our town magic division is already battered to deal with these big monsters, and the manpower is far from enough. So, we hope Brother Su can help us. Nowadays, the number of big monsters is increasing, and the Zenmosi can't deal with it at all, and the only 2 or 3 martial arts kings in the Great Xia dynasty have been retreating all the year round, and it is impossible to personally deal with the big monsters, otherwise those reclusive monster kings will not sit idly by. It will trigger a king-level battle. The consequences are serious. So Zenmosi quickly thought of Su Hao. With Su Hao's combat power, even big monsters can be killed. As for Su Hao, his heart was moved. Now he desperately needs the crystal nucleus of the big monster. With his increase, the crystal nucleus of the big monster can easily become a monster king. As long as he hunts enough big monsters, the bloodline will be able to quickly transform to the high level of the king, or even the peak. Okay, please provide me with the information, I will solve these big monsters. Su Hao agreed without much hesitation, and helped Zenmosi hunt down the big monsters. Zenmosi only needs to provide himself with the information of these big monsters. Yeah, our demon suppressor is very good at tracking monsters, and the whereabouts of those big monsters who are making trouble or under control. Seeing that Su Hao agreed to come down, Ouyang Baoshan said. With someone as strong as Su Hao, those big monsters are nothing. Let's go. Su Hao then left with Ouyang Yu. 3 days later, a small town in the east of the Great Wu dynasty. Originally this town was very lively, but now it is dead silent, with only the smell of blood soaring into the sky. An extremely obese monster squatted on the ground, holding a corpse and eating, surrounded by corpses all over the place. The fat demon muttered to himself, comfortable. Really comfortable. This unscrupulous feeling is what we demons should have. God gave me strength just to let me wantonly slaughter these damned human races. The obese demon is very satisfied and feels that he is a person favored by heaven. Not long ago, the obese demon was really just a demon with chi and blood, but from a certain day, the obese demon found that after waking up, his blood became stronger than before. It is not an exaggeration to say that he has made rapid progress. And with the strength of the bloodline, the strength of the obese monster increased at an exaggerated speed. It didn't take long for him to reach the peak of the divine pulse state and become a rare big monster. Possessing almost the strongest combat power below the king level, the obese monster naturally swelled up immediately, slaughtering tribes and towns recklessly, feeding on human races. Anyway, with his current strength, apart from the 2 or 3 martial arts kings of the Great Wu dynasty in addition, there are only a handful of people who can beat him. Even if he really encounters someone stronger than himself, he can escape easily. The sky monsters are already enough to run rampant in 3 directions. Ha! Another human race is here, and the aura is not weak, it's from the divine vein realm. The obese demon seemed to feel something, raised his head slightly, and looked into the distance, with a strange twinkle in his eyes. In the fat monster's perception, there were 2 human warriors coming, but he didn't care, even the human gods were vulnerable in his hands. And when Su Hao and Yang Yu came to this village, seeing the corpses all over the ground, they also had a tinge of coldness on their faces. These monsters really don't have the slightest bit of humanity, and they don't even spare ordinary people who have no strength to restrain chickens. Yang Bao was very angry. But Su Hao looked towards the center of the village, and saw the fat monster squatting on the ground and eating the corpses. Obviously he did all of this. The monster aura emitted by the fat monster is far stronger than that of ordinary monsters. You did all of this? Su Hao stared at the fat monster and asked. The fat demon looked up at Su Hao, and he laughed. That's right, I did it. Are you here to die? My strength has improved by leaps and bounds recently. Unless the human martial arts king comes, no one can control me. The fat monster is very confident. Is it? Su Hao replied, but when his words fell, his figure had already disappeared in place. What? The obese demon's pupils contracted slightly, because in his perception, Su Hao appeared behind him at some point. Boom. Without any hesitation, the obese demon immediately pushed his demonic aura to its peak, and the ground trembled violently. From that obese body, a monstrous aura that was unmatched by ordinary people gushed out, intending to blow Su Hao away. However, Su Hao was not affected at all. He stretched out his hands, pierced through the demonic aura, and hugged the fat demon's head. How can it be? The fat monster's hairs stood on end, and he didn't even see how Su Hao appeared behind him. Even if he tried his best to stimulate the monster's aura, he couldn't deter Su Hao. Fight back, kid. You are weak and dare to be so unscrupulous. Su Hao's cold voice rang in the ears of the fat demon. Forgive me. The fat monster reacted, and he hurriedly wanted to beg for mercy, but Su Hao didn't show any mercy. Crack. Su Hao pulled the arms holding the fat monster's head from behind. Amidst the tearing sound, the fat monster's neck was ripped off by Su Hao, and a head was cut off alive by Su Hao. Still in disbelief. I am a big monster, but I have no power to fight back against Su Hao. Su Hao, who opened up 12 celestial veins, is beyond imagination. Gudong. Even Yang Yu swallowed his saliva when he saw this scene. It was too terrifying. Facing a big monster, Su Hao effortlessly tore off his head. There was no big fight as expected. This shows that Su Hao his strength is not in the same dimension as these big monsters. Su Hao casually threw the big monster's head away. He looked at Yang Yu and said, let's find the next big monster. Yes, yes. Yang Yu nodded again and again. His eyes were full of admiration for Su Hao. Apart from the king, Su Hao was the only one who could easily kill a big monster. Su Hao took out the crystal nucleus from the fat monster's heart, and then went to the next place with Yang Yu to find a new big monster. Yang Yu was in charge of contacting the people from Zen Magic Division to obtain information about the big demon that caused trouble, while Su Hao was going to kill it. Yang Yu, who followed Su Hao all the way, has fully experienced what real cruelty is. Any big monster is as weak as an ant in the face of Su Hao, without the slightest resistance, and is easily slaughtered. Kill them all. Brother Su Hao, in just over a month, you have killed 6 big monsters. This efficiency is amazing. Su Hao and Yang Yu were walking in the wilderness, and Yang Yu said in amazement and admiration. For more than a month, Su Hao went back and forth to various places in the Dao dynasty, and all the big monsters that made trouble were easily killed by Su Hao. Su Hao smiled and was about to speak, but suddenly his expression changed slightly, and he looked at the huge deep mountain in the distance, because Su Hao felt a monster, a gigantic monster. Brother Su, what's the matter? That barren mountain is a barren mountain, where swamps are densely covered with miasma, and even monsters are unwilling to hide in it. Seeing the difference in Su Hao's expression, Yang Yu said. The barren marsh mountain is a dangerous place, desolate and uninhabited. Su Hao nodded, and he said solemnly, there is a monster hidden in this barren marsh mountain, a very powerful monster, stronger than the strongest monster I have ever seen. Exclamation mark quote. The strongest monster you've ever seen. Could it be the Demon King? Yang Yu was startled. Even Su Hao said that it was very strong, so it was most likely the Demon King. You wait for me here, I'll go and have a look. Su Hao said something to Yang Yu, and then headed towards the barren mountains in the distance at top speed. Yang Yu wanted to call him to stop, but Su Hao had long since disappeared. He frowned. Is there really a Demon King in this barren mountain? It's too dangerous for Su Hao to rush in. Su Hao entered the barren marsh mountain, surrounded by miasma and swamps. Ordinary people will stay in it forever if they are a little careless. The Demon King. If I can kill one, then my goal can basically be achieved. Su Hao was heartbroken. How far can a monster king's crystal nucleus, plus his all things boost, be strengthened? And this Demon King's aura is very strong, but with Su Hao's current strength, he is not incapable of fighting, so he decisively checks the situation, and if he has the opportunity, he will kill this Demon King. King hunting. Closing. Not long after, Su Hao got closer and closer to the huge group of evil spirits. Su Hao looked not far away, and he saw an area in front of him, shrouded in a purple demonic aura, and within the purple demonic aura, 10 burly figures were faintly sitting cross-legged. This is a monster with purple scales all over its body. It is 2.5 meters tall, and every inch of its body has traces of high-quality monster energy overflowing, making the surrounding void. The sky is distorted. This should be a Demon King, but the strange thing is that his aura is slightly weakened, and I have a familiar feeling about him. When Su Hao saw this demon, he knew it was a Demon King standing at the top of the world, but what puzzled Su Hao was that this Demon King always gave him a familiar feeling. At this time, the Demon King, who was sitting cross-legged and practicing quietly, opened his eyes. His purple pupils were extremely oppressive. When he saw Su Hao in front of him, he was stunned. There was disbelief in his eyes. Su Hao. As soon as the familiar voice came out, Su Hao also felt unbelievable. Is it Feng Yuan? Feng Yuan, the golden-armored general of the Temple of Heaven, had a grievance with Su Hao because of the affairs of Li Feng's family. What Su Hao didn't expect was that he had just reincarnated for the second time, and he met Su Hao. Feng Yuan. It can't be a coincidence. Feng Yuan used some means to reincarnate into a world with me, and he came to take revenge on me. While Su Hao was surprised, he quickly realized that this couldn't be a coincidence. There was only one possibility for Feng Yuan to appear here. It was intentional. As for the purpose, it was for revenge. Su Hao, I haven't looked for you yet. You actually appeared in front of me on your own initiative. When Feng Yuan saw Su Hao, he was both surprised and delighted. The corner of his mouth curled up, and he laughed wildly in excitement. Feng Yuan has successfully seized the corpse of the Blood-Wind Demon King found thousands of years ago here, and nourished the corpse with his own true spirit, successfully rejuvenating it with vitality and strength. Feng Yuan also planned to find Su Hao in the near future to take revenge, but Su Hao took the initiative to appear in front of him, which saved him a lot of trouble. Su Hao's expression also became cold. He stared at Feng Yuan opposite and said, "Are you here to take revenge on me?" At this time Feng Yuan didn't hide anything. He sneered. "That's right, when you humiliated me in front of so many people, did you think you could let it go?" Su Hao was speechless when he heard this. Feng Yuan was really cautious. At that time, he was domineering and wanted to join his subordinates to make atonement for killing Li Feng and others. God hated. Moreover, Feng Yuan deliberately reincarnated into the same world as Su Hao for this moment. The price he paid was definitely not small, just to seek revenge for Su Hao. A morbid degree. Feng Yuan, you are really small-minded. Su Hao shook his head. Feng Yuan's face was full of coldness and a sinister smile. He licked his lips and said, Su Hao, don't think that meeting me is just a matter of dying once and returning to the main world, dying in front of me. My true spirit is extremely powerful. It can intercept your true spirit, wipe out your true spirit here, and you in the main world will die. As soon as these words came out, Su Hao's heart trembled. Under normal circumstances, if one dies in the reincarnation world, the reincarnation tower will protect the reincarnation's true spirit and return to the main world. But Feng Yuan, as a high-level reincarnation, is extremely powerful, and his own true spirit is also powerful. If he is a strong person of the same level, the true spirit is strong, and Feng Yuan cannot suppress and obliterate his opponent. Feng's true spirit. Of the king. But Su Hao is just a reincarnated person who has only experienced one reincarnation. Feng Yuan is confident to wipe out his true spirit, let the other party completely die in the reincarnated world. Feng Yuan laughed grimly, and he looked down at Su Hao. Su Hao, I reincarnated into this world and obtained the corpse of a demon king, and seized it. Now I am fighting. Your strength is equal to a demon king in this world, you can't be my opponent, now kneel down and admit your mistake, and swear to be loyal to me in the future with the true spirit, I can spare your life. Feng Yuan has the winning ticket. He has the ability to obliterate Su Hao's true spirit, and he is still a demon king in this reincarnated world. What will Su Hao use to fight him? He wants to humiliate Su Hao first. Kill it again. However, Su Hao had a half smile. Feng Yuan, I believe that you can kill my true spirit, but the premise is that you can kill me in the reincarnation world, and I don't think you can do that. The prerequisite for Feng Yuan to kill Su Hao is to kill Su Hao first, but Su Hao doesn't think Feng Yuan can do this. It seems that you don't cry when you don't see the coffin, so I let you understand what real power is. Feng Yuan's eyes turned cold, and he made up his mind to let Su Hao really taste what regret is. Feng Yuan stood up from the ground, and from the body of the 2-5-meter tall monster, billowing purple monster energy gushed out. Boom! The ground trembled, and the sky was shrouded in purple clouds and mist, covering a radius of nearly a kilometer. There were even more purple snowflakes falling continuously. Each snowflake was transformed by demon power. When it fell on the trees were covered with a thick layer of ice crystals, and when they fell on the ground was covered with purple ice crystals. What happened? Ouyang Yu, who was waiting outside the barren marsh mountain, saw the astonishing scene in the distance, and he also took a breath of air. The purple demon cloud was shrouded, and the strange snowflakes were falling, overwhelming the forest below. Frozen into purple ice crystals, turned into a field of frost. Could it be true that there is a demon king? Su Hao and the demon king can't do it. Ouyang Yu's scalp was numb. This level of terrifying power is simply not something human can compete with. Ice and snow were flying all over the sky. Feng Yuan's burly demon body moved violently, the body flashed, and the strong wind brought away the trees frozen in the ice crystals on both sides, carrying a terrifying Yaoli. Punch Su Hao with one punch. The combination of surging monster energy and strength can smash mountains into pieces. Under the influence of Feng Yuan's demonic aura, Su Hao felt that his own reactions were slightly slow, but Su Hao's eyes shone with divine light, and the 12 heavenly veins in his body glowed with golden brilliance. The power is activated, instantly dissipating the demon power that invaded the body. Chapter 58. Since you refuse to be loyal to me, then die here. Feng Yuan said with a ferocious face, coupled with that monster's face, it looked extremely distorted, full of mad joy. The fist in his hand was fluttering with the wind, and the space seemed to be distorted at the moment the fist passed by, making bursts of buzzing sounds. Combination of spirit and power. The surging energy is like Wang Yang's waves rolling like a tide, setting off a terrifying storm, and the surrounding trees are swaying endlessly. 12 Tianmai, fully open. Facing Feng Yuan's fierce punching force, and the majestic demonic aura, the 12 celestial veins in Su Hao's body instantly opened, pale golden colors appeared, and the terrifying power gathered on the fist. It's also a punch. But it was stronger than Feng Yuan's fist. Fist out. The force is like destroying mountains, turning rivers and seas. Vaguely, behind Su Hao, there seemed to be a sky-reaching demonic tiger manifesting. The demonic tiger stood tall in the sky and roared up to the sky. Boom, boom, boom. Fist collide. The terrifying air wave swept across the four directions like a climax, destroying the sky and destroying the earth, destroying trees in a radius of tens of hundreds of miles. The spot centered on Su Hao and Feng Yuan was already covered with cobweb-like cracks, as if there had been a small earthquake before, which cracked the ground, exposing a knuckle-wide gap 320. How can it be? You actually have the strength to resist my punch. Feng Yuan looked at Su Hao in disbelief. He couldn't figure out how Su Hao in front of him cultivated in only a year. That fist bump just now. Feng Yuan felt the terrifying force as fierce as a tiger and as powerful as a dragon. If his current body was not a monster at the level of a demon king, but if he was replaced by another monster, he might have lost an arm with this punch. At the moment of collision, it turned into a blood mist and collapsed. Feng Yuan was startled for a moment, without thinking too much, and turned to look ferocious, staring at Su Hao with murderous intent. Since you don't want to be loyal, then die for me. Feng Yuan roared furiously. The power of demons on his body gathered in his hands, a pair of big bloody hands condensed out of thin air, as if they fell from the sky, and grabbed Su Hao, as if they were going to tear Su Hao on the spot and rip him into pieces. Horrific demonic energy swept down like a torrent of magic power, suppressing Su Hao. Facing Feng Yuan's condensed bloody hands, Su Hao remained motionless, seemingly frightened, but in fact he was planning a stronger move. I saw that Su Hao still punched out with one punch. However, it is more powerful than before. Akba. On the fisting arm, there seemed to be a dragon hovering out, the power of 12 heavenly veins gathered in the fist, the faint sound of the dragon roar, accompanied by the roar of the tiger behind him, like the ringing of the evening drum and the morning bell, roaring in the ears, such as the explosion of a nuclear weapon. It will give people a great psychological impact. The big bloody hand fell through the air and collided with Su Hao's fist. Boom. Su Hao's fist seemed to be invincible, and also like a sharp sword with unrivaled sharpness, it pierced through Feng Yuan's bloody big hand, smashed into a blood mist, and not only that, the power of the fist was even stronger, and the body under his feet moved suddenly, like a ghost, suddenly came to Feng Yuan's side. A pair of fists as big as casserole magnified in Feng Yuan's violently constricted pupils, as if they were exploding to the extreme, as if seeing a dragon biting towards him. At that moment, the terrifying fist seemed to be able to shatter everything. Under Feng Yuan's suddenly constricted pupils, Su Hao pierced his chest coldly and ruthlessly. An empty hole was ripped open by Su Hao. Ah! Feng Yuan screamed fiercely. The uncontrollable pain sounded in his mind, as if the nerves in his brain were being torn apart one by one. That kind of pain was beyond Feng Yuan's words. Su Hao, if you dare to attack me again, I won't be the only one to attack you next time. You have to know, I'm from the Temple of Heaven, and you can't kill me right now. If you let me go, I can give you more. Feng Yuan said as if threatening, trying to endure the pain in his heart. He thought that if he seized the body of a demon king, he would be able to successfully suppress Su Hao, and even subdue Su Hao, making him his slave. Su Hao was wounded and pierced through his body, causing his own vitality to be seriously injured. Moreover, it doesn't matter if Feng Yuan dies, it's just a reincarnation experience anyway. But he never wanted to die at the hands of an ant who had just reincarnated for the second time. Then I'll look forward to your death by my hands next time. Su Hao's expression was indifferent, unmoved, and immediately he punched Feng Yuan hard on the head. Immediately, red and white splashed all over the floor. Feng Yuan was also completely killed by Su Hao's punch. But before he died, he uttered a cruel word to Su Hao, full of hostility, and full of killing intent towards Su Hao. Even so, Su Hao never took it to heart. Next time, Feng Yuan will trouble him again, but it will not be as simple as trying again. Next time, Su Hao may have already figured out how to obliterate Feng Yuan's true spirit. As long as Feng Yuan comes again, Su Hao will definitely make Feng Yuan never return, and the true spirit will be completely wiped out. After Feng Yuan died, Su Hao took out the Demon King's crystal nucleus from the Demon King's body in front of him. As long as this thing is amplified by him, it may be able to help him completely break through the king-level bloodline and advance to the peak. At that time, with the additional breakthrough of the king-level peak bloodline, he will definitely be able to jump up and become the strongest among the kings. At that time, his potential will be the pinnacle of this world, which will benefit his subsequent ratings and the reincarnation points he will get. Brother Su, are you okay? At the same time, in the distance, Wu Yangyu's figure appeared in front of Su Hao's eyes, obviously he just arrived. It's okay, Su Hao said, shaking his head. It's fine, it's fine. Wu Yangyu breathed a sigh of relief. If Su Hao died, it would be nothing more than a loss to the human race. This is an existence that has the potential to become a martial arts king and can open up territories for the human race. Soil, the potential seed to drive away demons. Thinking about it, Wu Yangyu's eyes fell on the corpse of the demon king on the ground. His mind tightened suddenly, as if his heart was being held by someone. He looked at the corpse of the demon king in disbelief. Is this a demon king? Wu Yangyu stammered, his pupils dilated to the limit, almost falling out of their sockets, and looked at Su Hao in disbelief. Brother Su, did you kill this? Quote. Su Hao responded lightly, and didn't think there was any major problem. On the contrary, I feel that Feng Yuan's demon king is too weak. But this scene fell in Wu Yangyu's heart. But it was astonishing. This is the demon king. Su Hao actually killed a demon king, and he acted so calmly. Could it be that he has become a martial arts king? How can this be? Wu Yangyu couldn't figure it out, but his awe of Su Hao was even heavier, with an almost god-like attitude. He could imagine that if the news of today's news spread, it would definitely set off a monstrous wave and spark heated discussions among countless people. Chapter 59. After solving the demon incident and the conspiracy with Feng Yuan, Su Hao has already returned to his residence in Black Rock City. The rest of the affairs were also handed over to Wu Yangyu, and Wu Yangyu never tired of handling funeral matters. At this time, in Su Hao's room, the blood-red demon king's crystal nucleus had already appeared in his hand, and after some concentration of consciousness, he began to increase the demon king's crystal nucleus. Trigger a 90-fold increase in the monster crystal core of the monster realm and increase it to the monster emperor crystal core. With the deduction of 20 years of lifespan, the demon king crystal nucleus in Su Hao's hand was boosted and turned into the demon king crystal nucleus. Hear this prompt. Su Hao's eyes also froze slightly. The demon king. Is this the realm above the demon king realm? Then the realm corresponding to the cultivation system in this world is the martial Dao emperor. Su Hao pondered slightly. According to the information he knows, the Demon King and Martial Arts King are the pinnacle levels of this reincarnated world, although they have already far surpassed the first reincarnated martial arts world. But now, with the increase of the increased talent, he knows the higher level of the Yaowu world. Perhaps, after breaking through to the realm of ascension after the Martial Dao King, one is the Martial Dao King. But that's for later. With the strength of Su Hao's current reincarnation, it is very difficult to ensure that his true spirit can be intact and not destroyed under the ascension. Su Hao thought clearly, and then began to refine the Demon Emperor crystal nucleus in his hand, began the sublimation of the king's bloodline, and advanced to the peak level of the king's bloodline. With the refinement of the Demon Emperor's crystal nucleus, the blood of the king hidden in the blood of his body began to change. In the blood, there was a faint golden luster, as thick as mercury, as if every drop was overweight, exuding a vague majesty, oppressing people's hearts invisibly. This should be considered a semi-imperial bloodline, right? After thorough refining, Su Hao subtly felt the surging power in his body, and couldn't help thinking. The so-called semi-imperial level. In fact, it is half of the blood of the emperor. Although it has a semi-imperial name, it actually belongs to the king class, but it is stronger than the bloodline of the peak king class. Next, it's time to prepare how to break through the martial arts king. Su Hao said softly. It is imperative for him to break through the martial arts king. But how to break through, this matter needs to be studied carefully by Su Hao. The breakthrough of the big realm, the situation that is not understood is prone to chaos, so he needs to find a suitable time. More importantly, the practice in the Yaowu world is very different from the first reincarnation in the martial arts world. Compared with the latter, the former is much stronger in terms of peak combat power, and it is still based on cultivating physical strength and developing the potential of the human body. The latter, the world of martial arts, focuses on the cultivation of internal strength. Although the cultivation systems of the two are different, they both lead to the same goal in the end. If Su Hao wants to become the king of martial arts, he needs to transform his body into an innate body with no dirt. With the power of heaven and earth, relying on the emptiness to control the sky, flying into the sky and escaping from the earth, he can open mountains with his strength and gain 1,000 years of lifespan. It seems that I have to find Zenmagus to provide resources so that I can quickly break through the martial arts king. Su Hao got up, left his residence, and rushed towards Zenmagus' place. As he said, Su Hao wants to break through the martial arts king. The prerequisite for the body to transform into an innocent body requires a lot of resources, and there is only one place where he can obtain a lot of resources. That is the Zenmagic division of the Great Wu dynasty. This attachment is an official organization born under the imperial dynasty. They have countless resources, and they can naturally help Su Hao break through the martial arts king. Soon, Su Hao has already arrived at the location of the town magician in Black Rock City. Under the leadership of Zenma Si, Su Hao met Ouyang Yu. Brother Su. At this time, Ouyang Yu had just dealt with everything and was about to ask his superiors to report Su Hao's situation, but he saw Su Hao coming in under the leadership of the guards. He looked at it in surprise, and said with a smile, "I wanted to come to visit just now, but I didn't expect Brother Su to come here first. I think Brother Su must be here for something, right?" As he spoke, Ouyang Yu looked at Su Hao in awe. A monster at the level of a demon king died in the hands of Su Hao, and he had to be in awe. Such a person will sooner or later become the king of martial arts. Even if not, he will be the first person under the martial arts king, capable of slaughtering the king. 0. Asking for flowers. If Su Hao broke through the martial Dao king, it would be a new scene. Even ordinary martial Dao king Su Hao would be able to kill at will. Well, I need some resources to break through to the martial arts king. I don't know if the Zenmagic division can provide it. Su Hao didn't go around the corner. He originally had a similar cooperative relationship with the Zenmagic division. He was also asked to handle it on his behalf. Emotionally and rationally, Zenmu Si will not refuse his request. Otherwise, this is offending a future martial arts king. Even the Great Wu dynasty, with its great family and business, was unwilling to encounter such a situation. What, you want to break through the resources of the martial arts king? Ouyang Yu looked at Su Hao with some horror. Did I hear you right? 0. Brother Su, do you need the resources to break through the martial arts king? Yeah, Su Hao responded in a neutral tone. Well, I need to ask the higher authorities for instructions on this matter, just wait. Seeing Su Hao's calm look, Ouyang Yu couldn't breathe, so he hurriedly moved away and called the people nearby to greet Su Hao. Martial arts king. How long will it take for Su Hao to become a martial arts king? Ouyang Yu's heart seemed to have a big explosion. He could not calm down for a long time, and was about to contact Wang Tianrui, the deputy director of Zhenma Division. Opened up 12 deep buried, the top powerhouses below the king level. King level resources. Only Wang Tianrui is qualified to agree to Su Hao's request if he speaks up. As for the result, Ouyang Yu also believed that Wang Tianrui would not refuse. As expected, after finding Wang Tianrui, Ouyang Yu revealed the reason for Su Hao's visit. Wang Tianrui nodded without frowning, and said, "If he wants it, give it to him. We can't offend a martial arts king who is about to break through, and we can't offend him either. The dynasty also needs a new martial arts king to impact the situation." Wang Tianrui kneaded his eyebrows with some worry. Yes, Ouyang Yu responded, and asked tentatively, "Can't Master Si suppress it?" The impact of that incident was too far-reaching, and many people were affected. Now, His Majesty has not yet chosen a crown prince, and the situation is even more treacherous and full of confusion. I can't quite see the danger in this. Let's go, I'll meet Su Haoyu with you. Chapter 60. You want me to join the town magic division and become the deputy director? In the hall, Su Hao and Wang Tianrui sat opposite each other, looking at Wang Tianrui with slightly raised eyebrows. That's right, king-level resources can be supplied to Brother Su unlimitedly, as long as Brother Su can become the deputy head of our town magic division. Wang Tianrui nodded and said, "We are still the same as before. Brother Su just needs to be a hands-off shopkeeper, and he will help us when we need it. The rest, Zinmeng has other personnel to carry out. Besides, my demon suppressor doesn't dare to ask a martial arts king for help all the time. Of course, Brother Su is not willing, and my town magician will also give you the resources to break through the martial arts king." How about? Su Hao didn't respond and fell into deep thought. Wang Tianrui's conditions, he did have a little heartbeat. Wang Tianrui promised to give his deputy director, 930, the position of the head of the 930 inches, which is equivalent to the head of the Zenmag division in terms of status, and is more leisurely than the head of the Zenmag division. In other words, this position of deputy chief who belongs to him was set up just to win him over. He has no rights at all, but he can also mobilize everything in the town magic division, and he can also withdraw resources at will, and only needs to help occasionally. Be a hands-off shopkeeper. To put it bluntly, that is to be a priest, holding incense money, and occasionally running errands. Yes, I agree to your request. Su Hao responded. He is willing to become the deputy head of the town magic division. Hang a job. Okay, then you and I are colleagues. Wang Tianrui stood up, stretched out his hand with a smile on his face, and said, "Perhaps in the future, the head of this department will also call the head of the department Su the king." I accept your good words. Su Hao responded calmly. Joining Zenmasi at this time is beneficial to him and not harmful, and he can easily break through the martial arts king and start to lay out the world of demon martial arts. Since this is the case, why don't Deputy Director Su return to Kyoto with me, where we have the best resources and breakthrough environment of our town magic division, so that Deputy Director Su can break through without any worries? Wang Tianrui invited. Okay, I'm sorry. Su Hao nodded. Kyoto. He is going too. Since Wang Tianrui has an invitation, he will naturally not refuse. It shouldn't be too late. You and I will go to the capital tomorrow, and I can introduce you to Mr. Sizu. Wang Tianrui said with a smile. After exchanging pleasantries with Wang Tianrui for a while, Wang Tianrui got up and left the hall. Only Yang Yu, who followed, was still in the hall, accompanying Su Hao. Subordinate, congratulations to Deputy Director Su, and I hope that Deputy Director can support you a lot. At this time, after Wang Tianrui disappeared, Yang Yu was able to congratulate Su Hao, his voice humble, and his posture extremely low, even more awe. It's too much trouble for your care these days. Tomorrow, Demon General Yang Town will also return to Kyoto with me and Vice President Wang. Su Hao said calmly. Here, this subordinate thanked Deputy Director Su, thanked Deputy Director Su. Heard the words. Yang Yu's eyes suddenly burst into joy, and he couldn't hide his excitement. He thanked Su Hao again and again. Facing Yang Yu's repeated thanks, Su Hao didn't have the slightest feeling. I go to Kyoto alone. Two people go and go. Bringing Yang Yu along was just a convenient guide. After all, this person also helped him a lot in Black Rock City, and it's not bad to give him some favors occasionally. The next day, in the early hours of the morning, the sun is rising. A carriage belonging to Zenmasi came out of Black Rock City, led by Yang Yu. In the carriage, sat Su Hao and Wang Tianrui. In the carriage, the two sat opposite each other. The moment Su Hao got into the carriage, he was already immersed in practice. Tempering the strength of the physical body, thinking of ways to increase the speed of the 12 heavenly veins. Seeing Su Hao, who practiced so hard, Wang Tianrui seemed to understand how Su Hao broke through so quickly. Not to mention having an enviable talent and the blood of a king, but also practicing so diligently. How could Su Hao's cultivation speed not be fast? I don't know how long it has been. Su Hao only knew that he got off the carriage a few times in the middle of the journey, and the rest of the time, he closed his eyes and fell asleep, in a state between practice and sleep, in order to raise his energy to the peak state. Only wait until the day of Kyoto to break through the martial arts king. This day, the carriage stopped again. Outside the carriage, Yang Yu's voice came. My lords, Jingdu Town Magic has arrived. Brother Su, the Zen Magic Division has arrived. I don't know if it was influenced by Su Hao, but Wang Tianrui has also fallen into cultivation these days, slowly improving his cultivation, and it has also miraculously increased by a lot of zero. Perhaps, given enough opportunities, give him about 10 years. He is also expected to break through the martial arts king. However, it is only hopeful, not certain. Only Su Hao in front of him is a 100% inevitable breakthrough. Reached. Su Hao withdrew from training, glanced at Wang Tianrui who was about to leave the carriage, and secretly thought. After that, he followed closely. I see. In front of the carriage. A majestic, yet eerie courtyard with no pedestrians in the surrounding streets. Outside the gate of the courtyard, 2 stone lions landed on the left and right. Standing by the door were 2 guards wearing the costumes of Zen Magus. They were guarding Zen Magus. They were full of vigor and spirit, and their eyes were fierce. They were obviously ruthless people who had seen blood, and dealt with many monsters. It is strength. They are all at the perfect level of qi and blood. Compared with the remote Black Rock City, Jingmusi in Kyoto is even more impressive. Under the guidance of Wang Tianrui, Su Hao walked all the way into the gate of the Zen Magic Division, and saw many Zen Magic personnel walking around. Every time he saw Wang Tianrui, he would stand still. And at this time, Wang Tianrui will also introduce Su Hao in a disguised form, and also tell him about his status as the deputy head of Zhenma Division. When going deeper, Su Hao has been taken to a dark, secret room surrounded by walls, only the everlasting lamp is burning. In the secret room, a figure sat on the first high platform and lit an electric candle. Handle the sister demon incidents reported by the town magic department staff in 10 volumes. 3.6 volumes are major events in Kyoto. Wang Tianrui, I have met the director Dongfang. The first time Wang Tianrui, who was leading Su Hao, saw the figure, he followed the etiquette of his subordinates and looked at the figure on the high platform with respect. This is that the new deputy director you mentioned to me in your letter. Director Dongfang, who was handling all kinds of copywriting, raised his head, and an old face that seemed to be very old appeared in Su Hao's eyes. This person is the head of the first institution of the Dao dynasty, the Zen Magic Division. East Shock. When they came, Wang Tianrui also introduced this person with Su Hao. A martial arts king of the Great Wu dynasty. It has been nearly 800 years since he took over the Zen Magic Division of the Great Wu dynasty. Several monster kings were buried in the hands of this Sikong Sizu. His strength is unfathomable. Thanks for watching. Please like and subscribe.